With that, I'd like to open up to the public for public comment on any items that are not on the agenda. Yes, sir.
I'm confused. You guys believe that? Okay, I'm confused about when we can ask questions related to the public meeting and the reports from the general manager, from Randy. Last month, the GM refused to answer reports except for, I can't, I'm typing into the computer. The board asked, can we get an accountant in here? The answer was something like, I'll do whatever you want to do, but do you really want the public to ask questions directly? Today I want to ask some questions about the referencing the general manager's report number 4 on finance. Can a board member discuss questions and employees such as CSD in-house accountant? Do we have a finance committee? Who is it? Modesto meeting posted. Was the board approved? Who attended the meeting? The district staff. I don't know who the district staff is. We use that all the time, district staff. What were the other matters? Staff developed to develop a process. Is that Cindy, general manager, CPA? Last month's questions were asked about arsenic in the wells. The GM, again, can't answer. I'm typing it in the computer. This month, now we know we're failing in the health issues concerning nitrate reporting. I'm interested in prevention in the future. I would hope the board is too. I hope we can soon resolve. That was a comment in there. Well, I would hope so too. If it's an error, why not? It sure doesn't give me much confidence. No accounts receivable for grants. But last month, the GM report said the USDA's first reimbursement would be in March. I didn't see it in receivables. Also said that IRWMP preliminary approval for NJ and Sons past cost reimbursements would be before March 20th. I didn't see the receivables. So my question is, when can I ask these questions? They're not directly in the agenda, but these are all things that were left over from last month. What about Randy? Hopefully Randy will be here. And Cindy, you know, we have the same kind. Cindy doesn't have reports most of the time, but Randy does. Randy in 2008 told, or Jason told me that it only took 2 or 3 hours a day to operate and produce water out of the treatment plant. Randy, the last 2 months, says it takes 170 hours. That's over 8 hours a day. We've got one 2-2 person, that's Randy full-time. He's also the full-time guy out on the road. What does it take to run the treatment plant versus the maintenance of the treatment plant and things of that nature? I would think that's something you guys would be interested in. You ask for the details, but we don't get it. We just get the 170 hours. We continue to operate the newly completed wells on a rotational basis. I made a chart here, and I gave everybody a copy of it. The PG&E bills, if you look at them in January, it shows the number 2 well ran had $499 worth of PG&E. You know, we don't have the information, so I have to make do with what I've got. Then in February, it was $1,001. In March, it shows that Medina and number 5 and 6 are both tied at 563. And if you look at these things, you'll see Medina and 5 and 6 are the same all the time. You know, not impossible. Maybe there's a fixed charge in there someplace on both of them. I don't know. But, you know, it doesn't make sense when you're looking at, are we rotating the wells? It doesn't look like we're rotating the wells. And so, you know, my questions are, how do I get these answers? Because effectively, like last month, we said we couldn't answer any of these questions because you can't answer questions now. You can't answer questions when the GM brings it up. The GM is the one that writes the agenda, so all he's got to do is ask these questions, get them out in front and say, I told you so, but nobody can ask me. This whole thing is getting to go round and around the circle that is pretty confusing. So anyway, appreciate some help by explaining this, and so we can ask questions.
Hey, Danny, can I raise a point of order, because he brought up something, and you can either shut me off or not, that I was unclear on too, which he jogged my memory. When the manager report is there, are you allowed to, and I think Pete said this, can you ask stuff what's in it, or do you have to bring it up now? Or do we have to, like, say, I want to talk about that next month? Because I was unsure what Pete said. Do you remember what that was? No. Do you hear me?
Mhm.
Oh, I'm unsure.
Yeah, I thought you were
There's a
addressing
point,
that
I'm just
question.
unsure what, because that's what he's saying, I think he's saying, and I'm not sure either on that. We,
Typically, staff-related questions, questions to staff, questions about the operation, questions about what bills are paid and when, questions about how things are accounted for, questions about all of these operational matters would go to the general manager. And then the general manager would address those. That doesn't mean that those can't come out at the board in public comment.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
But it's a matter of public comment to the board hearing it, and then the board responding at a future meeting when there's something to put on the agenda, or some action to take that's related to that, or some question to ask another staff, or something to research, or something to send to a committee. That's normal to come out of a public comment situation.
so if we ask a question on a specific item within your report, I think you said last time, that's what I was confused about, that we couldn't discuss that, it's not on the agenda, but and I thought it was, or is it not?
Well, to have
Correct me.
If a director has a question about something that's in the written report, I'll always give a summary of it. If there's a question from a director about some component of it to get clarity, if I was unclear or said something verbally that seemed to be different from the written report or whatever, or had something to add, it's completely appropriate for a board member to say, well, what did you mean here? What's this mean? And for me to answer that question. But it's not, it's for the purpose of clarifying what's in the report or what I said that was part of the verbal.
So we want to talk about it in detail, I say, put that on for next month.
Yeah, or it can be a consensus of the board. And again, I should be looking to the board, instead of it just being an individual board member saying, why don't we put that on the agenda? I would like to see the board in general say, yeah, we can put that on the agenda and take some action on it. But to respond back and forth to the public then is not giving the opportunity for those that might have wanted to be at the meeting to hear that topic discussed. For example, if I talk about, and we'll see when we get there as far as the report goes, but
Okay.
you want to make sure that we follow the.
I was unclear on that. I'm unsure he was exactly referring to, but that's, I was sort of unclear too. I actually was unclear. Okay, thank you.
Well, and again, public comment is a time for the public to give us the comments
I understand.
on items that are not on the agenda. And if they want to take that and pursue it further, the avenue of resources, in your case, Wes, is call the district office, set up an appointment with the GM, and that's how to get your questions answered if we can't answer it. Because the public comment is a time for us to, I'll say, like I said, take your information in. If we're not going to answer it, but he's going to answer it, but not at this point in time, the dialogue is for you and him to sit there and have that conversation to get your answers. And that's been the protocols for forever around here.
But
So,
Danny, one thing I think is different, that's what I was trying to get clarified, is that we used to discuss reports in detail and a lot of back and forth, you know,
Mhm.
ask me, but now, we're not doing that.
no,
Right?
that,
Okay, just want to make sure.
right, okay. Thank you. Any other public comment?
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Why should legal Merced River water entitled customers of the subdivision, who are mandatory CSD customers due to that property ownership, be forced to subsidize expensive ground wells for water service outside the water license place of use when the district has no legal duty to serve these other properties? This question has never received an answer, much less honest discussion or debate, despite it being the single largest problem affecting this district since its inception in 1980. So many failures are directly related to this subject. Case in point, Incorrect information and inoperable links to factual information on the LDPCSD website have been brought to the board's attention multiple times, yet there has been no correction or repair of these issues. When directors refuse to address such matters, it only encourages speculation by the public as to possible motives for this apparent lack of concern and responsibility for the customers they claim to represent. This repeated failure suggests the board is either totally unconcerned with the incorrect and misleading information, or the material was specifically designed and intended to mislead the public, and the board supports this deception. When directors refuse to answer simple questions and just redirect them to a GM with a history of misrepresentation and untruthfulness, they are not just failing to perform their duties, but actually become indispensable components to the continuing managerial corruption of this public agency. And like Wes said, that arsenic discussion of last meeting, GM Campus said it was going to be at this meeting. He would discuss it and explain it, because he gave me one answer and then turned around a month or two later and gave a completely different answer. So I'd like to know, how is the arsenic removed from the water? Because if it's through the dilution process, that would mean in a severe drought when we did not have lake water, those ground wells would be useless if it's not running through the filter. And I was told the filters do not remove the arsenic. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. As far as my report, this month I didn't prepare anything, so I'm going to move on to the general manager's report, which is pages 3 through 5 in your packet. You have it. I'm not going to cover it for you.
And there's also a two-page handout that I thought was worthy of delivery today, and I'll address that when I get to that in the report.
Okay.
That's the one with the Lake Don Pedro logo on the front.
Okay.
Letter to the Department of Water Resources. A lot of, and again, a lot of